day. Good work, Leo. Creatures are starting to think about rest. Two biffer-bound birds are now building their nest. They do it each night, and quite often I wonder.
What is wrong, baby Leo? Okay, there's the book. He's bored.
How they do this big job without making a blunder.
Or sleepy.
But that is their problem. Not yours, not mine. The point is, they're going to bed, and that's just fine. Sleep thoughts are spreading throughout the whole land. The time for night brushing of teeth is at hand. Up at Herkheimer Falls, where the great river rushes and crashes down crags and great garland gushes, the Herkheimer sisters are using their brushes. Those falls are just grand for toothbrushing beneath, if you happen to be up that way with your teeth. Next page. The news just came in from the castle of Krupp that the lights are all out and the drawbridge is up. And the old drawbridge drawer just said with a yawn, "My drawbridge is drawn, and it's going to stay drawn till the milkman delivers the milk about dawn. I'm going to bed now, so nobody better come around with a special delivery letter." The number of sleepers is steadily growing. Bed is where more and more people are going. In Culpeper Springs, the stilt walkers' hall, the stilt walker stilts are all stacked on the wall. The stilt walkers have called it a day. They're all tuckered out, and they're snoozing away. This is very big news. It's important to know. That's why I'm bothering telling you so. Way out in the west, in the town of Merced, the Hinklehorn Honking Club just went to bed. Every horn has been quietly hung on a hook for the night in its own private Hinklehorn nook. All this long, happy day, they've been honking about, and the Hinklehorn honkers have honked themselves out. But they'll wake up quite refreshed in the morning, and then they'll start right Hinklehorn honking again. Everywhere creatures are falling asleep. The collapsible fig just collapsed in a heap. And by adding the freight to the others before, I'm able to give you the Who's Asleep score. Right now, 40,404 creatures are happily, deeply in slumber. I think you'll agree that's a whooping fine number. Counting up sleepers, just how do we do it? Really quite simple. There's really nothing to it. We find out how many, we learn the amount by an audio-teleo-talio count. On a mountain halfway between Reno and Rome, we have a machine in a plexiglass dome, which listens and looks into everyone's home. And whenever it sees a new sleeper go flop, it jiggles and lets a big bingo ball drop. Our chap counts these balls as they pulp in a cup, and that's how we know who is down and who's up. Do you talk in your sleep? It's a wonderful sport, and I have some news of this sport to report. The world champion sleepwalkers, Joe and Mo Redzoff, have just gone to sleep, and they're talking their hands off. 45 years now, each chattering brother has babbled and gabbled all night to the other. They've talked about laws, they've talked about gauze, they've talked about paws, and they've talked about flaws. And they've talked quite a lot about old Santa Claus. And the reason I'm telling you this is because you should take this sport up. It's just fine for the jaws. How about, do you walk in your sleep? I just had a report of some interesting news of this popular sport. Near Finnegan Fen, there's a sleepwalking group, which not only walks, but it walks a la hoop. Every night they go miles while they walk to such length, and they have to keep eating to keep up their strength. So every so often one puts down his hoop, stops hooping, and does some quick snooping for soup. And that's why they're known as the Hoop Soup Snoop Group. Sleepwalking too are the curious Crandalls, who sleepwalk on hills with assorted sized candles. The Crandalls walk nightly in slumbering peace, in spite of such slight burns from hot dripping
His part?
grease. Excuse you.
Utut.
Daddy's reading, excuse you. The Crandalls wear candles because they walk far, and if they wake up, they want to see where they are. Now the news has arrived from the Valley of Vale that a Chippendale mup has just bitten his tail, which he does every night before shutting his eyes. Such nipping sounds silly, but really it's wise. He has no alarm clock, so this is the way he makes sure that he'll wake up at the right time of day. His tail is so long, he won't feel any pain, till the nip makes a trip and gets up to his brain. In exactly 8 hours, the Chippendale mup will at least feel the bite and yell, ouch, and wake up. And Mr. and Mrs. Carmichael Crocs have just gone to bed near the town of Fort Knox. And they, by the way, have the finest of clocks. I'm not sure that I quite understand just how the thing works with that one extra hand. But I do know this clock does one very slick trick. It doesn't tick-tock. How it goes is talk-tick. So with ticks in its talker and talks in its ticker, it saves lots of time and the sleepers sleep quicker.
Is he bored yet?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe that's the last part.
Okay, last page, Leo.
Last page, Leo.
What a fine night for sleeping, for all that I hear. It's the best night for sleeping in many a year. They're even asleep in the Zwidback Motel, and people don't usually sleep there too well. The beds are like rocks, and as everyone knows, the sheets are too short. They won't cover your toes. So, if people are actually sleeping in there, it's a great night for sleeping. It must be the air.
Okay, to be continued.
End.
No, to be continued tomorrow.
Night, night, everybody.
Night,
Night, night.
night. Night, night.